recession warning out this morning, with Deloitte Canada warning the Canadian economy is heading for one this year.
I think it's fair to say that Canada is a country that just doesn't work properly anymore. The unemployment is rising faster than ever before. We have a crazy, horrible job market. Inflation is on the rise. Car theft and criminality are also on the rise. And on top of that, we have massive union strikes that affect the entire country. We're going to discuss it all in today's video, but before we do that, I want to let you guys know that about 90% of you guys are not yet subscribed to the channel. So if you find yourself coming back to the channel and watching content, please hit that subscribe button, guys. And with that being said, let's dive straight into it today.
Somebody has to say it, but Canada's job market is fucking shit. And let me tell you why. Since August, I've lost 3 jobs being laid off of, whether it's because the company is shut down, they've went bankrupt, they can't afford the rental space, property, budget cuts, whatever the fucking case may be. I'm here with like 10 years of customer service experience, sales experience, management experience, office management experience, fitness, athletic therapy, everything in the fucking book, jack of all trades. And I cannot find a job to save my life. I just applied for a customer service agent for WestJet and I got turned down. I've applied at McDonald's to be an entry-level fucking whatever flipping burgers. I've been turned down because of too much experience. I'm open to trying something new. I'm open to like trades, construction, whatever, but no one wants to hire me, so help me.
You notice how a lot of the jobs she was talking about that she's had where like the company would actually shut down. That was one of the main reasons why the company went bankrupt. That's what it's like doing business in Canada. It's high taxes, high turnover rate, and then honestly, a lot of the companies end up going bankrupt because they just can't grow. If you want to grow in Canada as a company, that leap that you have to do if you're a small business to get to a massive corporate level is ridiculously hard. In the United States, it's way easier. That's why a lot of companies end up moving to the States, and we're probably going to see a lot of companies in Canada do that as well this year.
I believe what I'm seeing. If you sent me this image 8 years ago, I would have said this is South Africa. This is a third world country. This is Canada, where law-abiding Canadian citizens have to resort to these measures to protect their vehicles and to protect their homes under this Liberal and NDP government, which has prioritized these criminals over our families and children.
Cinder blocks on top of the wheels to prevent people from stealing their cars. You know what's crazy as well, if you guys are aware of this story, I think this happened a few years ago. Mitch Marner, one of the star players of the Toronto Maple Leafs, he actually was robbed of his car as well when he's at a movie. And this was like a few years ago. You guys can look up that story. I found that really fascinating that it's happening to wealthy people as well. So if you're wealthy and you drive a nice car, don't be parking that car at the movie theater, especially in a dangerous area. In fact, a lot of areas in Toronto now are considered dangerous, which is not like the Toronto that I grew up with.
New recession warning out this morning, with Deloitte Canada warning the Canadian economy is heading for one this year. CTV's Mason DePatie is tracking this for us from Calgary. Good morning, Mason. Take us through what the report says.
By definition, a recession is 2 straight quarters of negative GDP growth, so that will be Q2 and Q3. However, when we look at the year as a whole, Canada's still on track to post a 1.2% GDP growth. Now, that's driven by a good start to early this year, as well as a potential rebound later this year. All of the provinces are also set for positive GDP growth, with Alberta being the highest at 1.7%. When we turn to the job front, though, things certainly slow. Employment growth is set to dip to just 1%, and the unemployment rate to rise to 7%, thanks to an increase in job losses. It isn't all doom and gloom, though. The inflation rate set to hold around the Bank of Canada's targeted 2%. There's also potentially an opportunity for Canadian industries as U.S. and Chinese firms struggle with rising costs amid these tariffs that could allow Canadian companies to step in and grow their exports. But of course, Renee, this is really just a snapshot at this moment. And when it comes to trade policy at the moment, things are very uncertain and change fast.
And that's actually one of the reasons why they kept interest rates the way they are, is because of uncertainty in the job market and the economy for Canada right now. That's what the Bank of Canada did as well recently. And you might think that that's a good thing, but it could be a really bad thing as well, because with uncertainty, and that's what they stated for those interest rates to be paused, you don't really know where you land in this country at the moment. You don't know whether or not the jobs are going to be stable here. You don't know whether the housing market's going to crash or skyrocket. And honestly, if you had to go between those two to pick one, what would be more likely? I would say the housing market would continue to go up instead of crashing. It literally feels like it's impossible at this point for the housing market to crash in Canada.
Hey, so can we talk about Canada Post? I don't want to either, but the reality is there's predictions of another strike event happening partway through May, and I still do not have a solution for how to send letter mail through any other couriers. They've jacked up their prices. Canada Post already has a monopoly on letter mail, so that means that for me to send something that would cost the buyer $4 to $5 to Canada or the US would now cost the buyer $30 to $50 to ship. So I do not have a solution. If you are someone who is a creator or sends letter mail items, stickers, prints, flat items out, and uses someone besides Canada Post and lives in a rural location, that's the biggest issue. We are in a rural location. We do not have a Chit Chats pickup. We do not have any of these things anywhere nearby. Let me know what you're using. If you're local, be prepared for local pickups instead of shipping. And bear with me, because last time it was a nightmare to have to shut my shop down and not be able to ship anything. So, yeah, help.
A lot of people actually found my channel during the Canada Post strike, which happened a few months ago. So if you are someone who found my channel during that, welcome back. We're going to be talking more about Canada Post potentially in the upcoming weeks. So I'm really excited about that. As someone who has an eBay store and ships things out, I've definitely reduced the amount of stuff that I am selling on eBay after that Canada Post strike and after all the tariff threats, because I just don't really know. Again, uncertainty, like we've been talking about in the video, that's one of the reasons why Canada is just such a difficult place to live in and a difficult place to do business in. You have massive monopolies like Canada Post that have a stranglehold on the shipping in Canada, especially when it comes to letter mail, like you talked about. Letter mail is it's the only place to actually have good, effective letter mail. So if you're just sending out one small item, whether it's like a cardboard, like Pokemon card or something like that, really it's the only way to do it in Canada. Everything else is really expensive. There is some reduced rate sometimes you'll find at UPS or something like that, but it's nothing on Canada Post when it comes to just the effectiveness of that cheap letter mail cost, which a lot of people use, especially people reselling on eBay as well. So that is going to be a subject that is probably going to be spoken about on my channel in the coming weeks. So if you're excited about that, yay! I'm not excited at all, but if you guys are excited to talk about that and discuss it in the comment section, let me know as well. Also, leave your thoughts about this video down below in the comment section. And with that being said, guys, I hope you learned something from today, and I hope you guys come back tomorrow for another video. Take care.